I want to talk today to you guys about fulfillment. How do you find fulfillment in life? One of the key ingredients in life and what people are looking for is fulfillment. When we come into these rooms, when people, I say it all the time, we're looking for answers for our lives. Especially men like us who have suffered drug addiction, incarceration, we've messed up our lives, and we're looking for some kind of hope for those of you looking for it. And we can't find, or we don't think that life, success, fulfillment is for us. I want to tell you today that it is. No matter where you are in life, no matter where you come from, no matter what it looks like, there's hope. And change is possible. And you can be fulfilled. So I want to talk about that today because the question of the evening is, how do you find fulfillment for your life? That's the question of the evening. How do you find fulfillment for your life? So what I wanted to start with this evening with, I wanted to share, there's some words that I specifically use in our introduction. I use them all the time. I just use them right now. We have them right there: inspire, challenge, and equipped. But I want to share with you 6 key words that I use before I go on, because they're important. I have chosen them specifically. They're designed for specific reasons. So let's start with those that are up there. The Choose a Change mentoring class, you will be inspired, challenged, and equipped. So what does that mean? You're going to be inspired because we need inspiration for our lives. You need inspiration. And inspiration is not going to do it all for you, but we all need it, right? Who's ever heard an inspiring story and you're like, yes, I can do this? We need inspiration. Challenge. I believe that men need to be challenged. People need to be challenged. You have to be challenged, because if nobody challenges you, you're not going to do nothing. Challenging is like when in a football team or a basketball team or even our kids as a father, I'm challenging my son, because people need to be challenged. You need to be pushed. Otherwise, you won't do nothing. That's why I use that word. And of course, equipped. Equipped because, we need instruction. We need somebody to guide us, lead us, give us. I told my son the other day, my job as your father is to help you, guide you, lead you, and instruct you. I can't do it for you, son. And that's the same thing I tell my son. I say this to Choose a Change all the time. I can't do it for you, Hugo, but I can tell you how to do it, and you have to do it for yourself. Does that make sense? The words I use, and that is change, success, and fulfillment. Here's the reason I'm telling you this. Change, success, and fulfillment. Let me tell you why I use those 3 words. Change, because most people need change in life. Even when they don't believe it. They don't see it. Ever seen somebody that they need to change? They don't want to. You know that they need to change, but they don't think so. You know they need to change, but they simply don't see it. So this is why I talk about change. The next word is success. When I used to think of that word, I used to think success was not achievable for me. That's what I think. That success was not achievable for me. That's how I used to think. This is why we have the formula. So I like using that word because in these rooms, you're going to learn what success is. I'm going to talk a little bit about, I challenge men and people to take this that I have up there on the side and consider it success. And then the last one is fulfillment, which is what I want to talk about tonight. Fulfillment. How do you find fulfillment? Is the question of the evening. Fulfillment. So let me ask you a question. Do you find it through education? Fulfillment? Through marriage? Is it when you get married, that's when you're fulfilled? I'm telling you this, guys, because people, Google it, you'll see what I mean, are looking for fulfillment. Can you buy it? Is it something you can read in a book? Can you find it in videos and podcasts? Or maybe in a class like this? How do you find fulfillment? So that's what I want to talk about tonight. Fair enough? Does anybody have any questions about that for now, right now? It's a very simple message, but I believe it's profound. I think you're going to learn a lot tonight. Here we go, guys. I think the first thing we need to unravel is define fulfillment. So let's start there. How do you define fulfillment? According to Webster, or Google nowadays, all right? Who knows what I mean by Webster? Who doesn't know what I mean by Webster? Okay. Webster was the first dictionary. It's a dictionary. But now we have Google. Here's how Google defines fulfillment. It says, the achievement of something desired, promised, or predicted. The achievement. In other words, you're going to reach something that was desired, promised, or predicted. Here's an example. Winning the championship was the fulfillment of a childhood dream. That's an example of fulfillment. Here's another definition. Satisfaction or happiness. Satisfaction or happiness as a result of fully developing one's ability or character. I like that one. Let me repeat that one. Remember, we're defining fulfillment. Satisfaction, in other words, you have satisfaction or you're happy as a result of fully developing one's ability or character. You know, I really like reading this because I started learning this in prison, Chavarria. And just like you, maybe, Chavarria, you read these things and you have to start defining each. What does this mean? And what does this mean? That's what I had to do, Chavarria. And this is why I'm bringing out these words. Because I read something, and I didn't know what I read. I didn't know what it meant. Fulfillment is being satisfied with something. The question tonight is, what is that something for you? Did you know that people all over the world are seeking this very thing? Fulfillment. So, what would bring you happiness and fulfillment in life? Because really, that is the question. What would make you happy and content? Think about it for a minute. It's a powerful question. Because this is what I'm trying to help you do in these rooms. This is the whole purpose of the process that I teach. It's the whole purpose of it. Because you're going to find out today how you're going to find fulfillment and why you can't find it. That's pretty powerful stuff. And by the way, it took me years to figure this out. I'm going to give it to you. Years. I'm telling you, it'll take you years to finally say, man, that guy was right. I know what I'm talking about. Because really the question is, what would make you happy? The next question is, check this out. Here's a more important question. Whatever the answer to that first question is, like, what would make you happy? whatever the answer to that question is, the next question is, would that really make you happy and content, or do you just think it would? So you're hoping for something. You're dreaming to being a great artist, like Frank is an artist. Or you're thinking that one day you're going to have a great job, make a lot of money, and you're going to have your house and your dream house and your wife and your kids, which is a good thing to want. You think that whatever it is for you, would it make you happy? And the next question is, how do you know that? Those are good questions. They're the kind of stuff I started thinking about in prison, Chavarria. So I want to share, I'll stop here. I feel fulfilled. I feel happy. I feel content. Am I wanting more? Yes. Am I seeking more? Yes. But you have to come to a point in your life in order to be fulfilled that you're content with what you have. It's called gratitude. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me give you an example, some examples of people who thought money and success would bring happiness. Who knows anybody famous that has killed himself? Anybody? Raise your hand if you know somebody. Let me give you some examples. That's right. Who's ever heard of Anthony Bourdain? Who's ever heard of him? Yep. The reason I put him first, and remember, we're talking about fulfillment. Because you would think that having fame and money would bring fulfillment, right? I mean, right? I used to think it would. I said, man, I don't care what I have to do. As long as I have money, and it doesn't matter. And that's not true. But yet people really believe that by their actions and by their attitudes. Just because you don't have money, you feel sorry for yourself or you feel bad. And you think that you'll never be fulfilled because you don't have money. Well, let me tell you about Anthony Bourdain. Anthony Bourdain was a celebrity chef. He traveled all over the world and got paid for it. Big bucks. He was a New York Times bestseller author. He won 8 Emmy Awards. He battled drug addiction in the past and had openly discussed his struggles with depression. And this is what caught my attention. This is the only one that I'm going to expound on. Here's what his mother said. Listen closely. His mother said, he is absolutely the last person in the world that I would have ever dreamed would do something like this. Listen to the last words. He had everything. Fulfillment. Fame and fortune doesn't bring fulfillment. Fair enough? Here, let me give you a couple other examples. Who's ever heard of Kurt Cobain? Maybe being a rock star will bring fulfillment. I used to think that. I used to think, man, I'm never going to be a rock star, so I'm never going to be happy. Hey, but I used to sing when I was drunk. I became a rock star, just became the wrong one. He was a lead man for Nirvana. Here's another one, Robin Williams. And I say the same thing about him that Bourdain's mother said about his son, her son. That he was the last person that I ever thought would do something like that. I would never believe that Robin Williams, of all people, Robin Williams. Do you know who Robin Williams is? This guy here was, he was at the top. Talking about success and fame and fortune, this man was at the top. He made people laugh. He was incredible. And I remember when I heard that he killed himself. Blew me away. I said, so then how do you find fulfillment? What does really matter? See, this should start giving you some hope right about right now. Prince died of a drug overdose. Michael Jackson died of a drug overdose. Whitney Houston. Remember her? I want to dance with somebody. Beautiful woman, fame, fortune. And what happened? Drug addiction. Why? Why? You would think that leave that to the vato locos forever from the hood, right? No. Fulfillment is not found in drugs and alcohol, fame, and fortune. Can we leave that out? We're getting somewhere. How about Kate Spade? Anybody heard of her? I had no idea who she was, but I understand she was a rich and famous designer. Remember, I'm talking about finding fulfillment. And I'm giving you some powerful information that will change your life forever. Stay with me. You can't find it in those things. Let me tell you what else you can't find it in fulfillment. Let me tell you other reasons why people can't find fulfillment. I'm going to give you 5 reasons or 5 things why you cannot find fulfillment, and then I'm going to give you the 3 things you need to find fulfillment. Do you have anybody have any questions here? So why can't you find fulfillment? Why does people cannot find fulfillment? Let me give you 5 reasons, at least 5. Number 1, they lack social skills. What does that mean? That means you're afraid to ask. You don't know how to ask. Especially our youth, our young people, young men and women. Our millennials, what do you call them? You know? We they don't know how to ask. They're trapped in this technology, which is great, but we lack social skills. A lot of people lack social skills. And if you lack social skills, what that means is that you don't know how to act, you don't know how to communicate, you don't know how to present yourself, right? Like Chavarria, right? You lived in the hood, you lived in gangs, right? That was your life. You knew how to act there, right? But when you started coming to church, it was different, right? That's called lack of social skills. That's all that means. So then most people can't find fulfillment because they lack social skills. They don't know how to communicate. That makes sense? Here's another one. Pride. Pride kills. Pride. You're too prideful to ask. You're too prideful to think that I could help you. That's what you really used to think. You know what Rudy used to say? ¿Qué me puede enseñar ese convicto? What can that ex-loser convict show me? And you know what I used to say? If you don't know about me, you better ask somebody. Pride will stop you in your tracks to achieve anything. Here's another one. Low self-esteem. This is a big one. This one was a killer for me. Low self-esteem. You don't believe in yourself. Nobody ever encouraged you. And I get Mark, right? Today I can look at Mark and say, Mark, I'm telling you, you can become great. You can have great things. You can do more than you ever thought possible. And I'm not even kidding. You can be the healthiest person. You can do anything if you set your mind to it. Who's ever heard that before? You can do anything if you set your mind to it. Who remembers what the main part of the formula for change is? The main part. The main part. Mindset. That's the key ingredient in the formula that I teach here. So listen to that saying. You can do anything if you set your mind to it. The problem is most people don't know how to set their mind to it. I told you we're going to learn something, Chavarria. We don't know how to set our minds. We don't know how. If we did, why doesn't more people find fulfillment? Here's another one. The victimhood mentality. The victimhood mentality. I call it the Plum Syndrome. The victimhood mentality. Remember, I'm giving you why people cannot find fulfillment. The victimhood mentality, I call it the Plum Syndrome. Does anybody can tell me what the Plum Syndrome means?
Poor little old me.
Poor little old me. You start feeling sorry for yourself. You have to get out of that. You have to. Because if you don't take control of that, or I can put it like this, if you don't take control of your life, guess who will? Somebody else. And guess what somebody else has in store for you? Not much. It's called the not much list. And here's the last one. So, lack of social skills, pride, low self-esteem, victimhood mentality, and the blame list. The famous blame list. Part of the victimhood mentality. It was my father's fault. It was my brother's fault. It was the judge's fault. It's the system's fault. You know about the blame list? Okay. It was my wife's fault. The blame list. Listen, guys, I'm telling you some things, profound things, guys. I'm serious. And this is the simple stuff. But I didn't know that. It's the little things that get you. The little ones, little ones. The seemingly insignificant choices you make on a daily basis. So what's the solution as we close? It's real simple. If we get it, if you set your mind to it, right? Is this helping anybody? If you set your mind to it, is it helping anybody online? If I am, just throw some thumbs up or something. Tell us something. Let's close with the answer to fulfillment. And listen, this is after years of research. Years. There's only 3 that we can expound on, but there's only 3 things. This, I'm telling you guys, this is years of experience. For me, at least 22 years. Years of Googling it. You can Google this and you'll find out what I'm telling you is true. The greatest inspirational speakers, teachers, motivation, I promise you, this is it. Here you go. Number 1. You've got to want it, which is the first step to what I teach. Desire. You've got to want something. I'm not talking about, I wish you're sitting on a sofa watching TV. I wish I could do this. And no. That's not desire. That's wishful dreaming. That's lustful dreaming. That's just being selfish. I wish my life was better. Así están tomando una beer, poreando. Watching the game. Boys, drinking beer with your friends. But in your mind, you're thinking, man, I wish my life was better. Well, you're not going to get it better like that. So what do? Any modo. You might as well feel good about it. I know. For now. Y luego en la mañana, otra vez. No. You have to want something. You have to want it. You have to want it so bad that you're willing to do whatever it takes. Listen, guys, let me stop right here and tell you a secret. I'm not here to just give you a little inspirational story. I'm serious about what I'm doing. I'm serious about life change. And unless you get serious, nothing's going to happen. Period. You're going to go back. You're going to go back to your old ways. You're not going to make it. That's just how it is. That's why when I see Frank and Chavarria, man, I'm so proud of them. And I see success. I see them moving forward. And I don't think they'll mind me saying, the least people that would think that they would make it. There's some people that say they'll never make it. And you know why I'm so proud of them? Because I know that feeling. When somebody look at me and say, that guy will never make it, he's a loser. So I know what I'm talking about. And why? Because they chose to believe. I heard a song today. And I said, man, I wish I knew what it was. And it's talking about all this stuff. And she says, I chose to believe. It's a choice. I'm telling you, it's a choice. You want to be a loser or do you want to be a winner? Period. There's no middle of the road. There is no middle of the road. And that's what we're going to teach. That's what I'm going to preach. That's what I'm going to tell you. You're either in or you're out. Period. Right? Isn't that how it works? That's how it works. You have to want it. And that's where faith comes in. Because it's so vivid to me, being in prison, feeling hopeless, knowing that I was going to walk out at 40. This is why I share this story all the time. And I'm thinking about learning all these things. And I'm like, man, is it real? Is it possible? All I had was hope. Hope. Desire, deep-rooted desire. So that's what you're going to need. You're going to need that deep-rooted desire to want something better for your life. Number 2. I'm telling you that fulfillment is in service to others. Service to others. You're going to have to stop being selfish. And you're going to have to start learning to help others. This is what I'm doing. I've committed my whole life to doing this, Chavarria. I was talking to a guy today. I was in Lowe's. And I met him, I don't know, about 15 years ago, 17 years ago, when I got out of prison. I got into a business with him. A business that he's still in. And it was all about making money. And here I am, 17 years later, I'm not in that business anymore. I'm building my own business. I have my own business. I'm doing great. I'm helping others. And I tell him he says, what are you doing? He says, you ought to come back to this business. I said, no, I have much more important things to do. And I told him about choose the change, right? He says, well, is they paying you here? Are you making money here? In his mind, it was all about money, money, money. And he said, aren't they paying you here? I said, no, I probably put more money into it than I get paid. I don't get paid. You know why? And you know when I looked at him, he looked older. He was all gray hair. He was out of shape. No, he looked weary. And I think I was older than him. Because he had a wrong mindset. Service to others is where it's at. I've dedicated my life to service to others. And by the way, that's biblical. Serving others. They asked Jesus. This is a great book to look into, the Bible. They asked Jesus, what is the greatest commandment of all? Right? That's like a heavy-duty question, right? What really matters? What really matters? They're asking him. That's what they're asking him. What really matters about God? What is the greatest commandment of all? And Jesus said, well, love God with all your heart, all your soul, all your mind. And then he said something powerful. He says, and the second one is just like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. He says, on these 2 commandments, remember there's 10 commandments, but he says, but on these 2 is the whole foundation of life. Just those 2. That's why faith is so important. That's why I don't want to do this without faith. I don't want to do what I'm doing without God. Some people say, well, I don't believe in God. I say, well, you don't have to. It's true, right? Because it's a choice. That's a fairy tale. Well, what fairy tale do you believe? That's just a myth. Well, what myth do you believe? Who's your God? Because you do have one. So desire, you gotta want it. How to find fulfillment. Take service to others. And number 3 is a huge one. And that's gratitude. You have to learn to be grateful. Where you're at, Jolly. That you have friends. That you're still here. That somebody cares. See, you have things to be grateful for. You might not have everything you want. In fact, there's no promises that you'll ever get everything you want. That's why gratitude is so important. There's no promising that I'm going to make it where I want to make it, where I want to go. There's no promises. But I'm content. That's why I started with that. I'm content. I'm happy where I'm at. I had to learn that in prison. I'm happy. Lord, if I don't get anything else, that's fine. Right here in prison, I'm content. That doesn't mean I'm not shooting for more, but I'm content. The Apostle Paul, another Bible story. You'll always hear me share Bible stories and prison stories. Apostle Paul was in prison. And here's what he said. He said, I have learned. It's a learning process. I have learned that in what situation I'm in, to be content. I'm grateful. Because I know how to have, because he knows how to have great riches. He knew how to do that. He was at the top of his game when he was not a Christian. And now he found himself in prison with nothing. He says, I've learned. I've learned no matter what situation I'm in, therein to be content. Gratitude will take you further than you ever thought possible.